How long?
How did you meet? How did you meet
Oh,
each other?
Nancy and I.
Yeah.
How did we meet? We met. We had a little band. We went to the little social club there in the community and played. And she came to that dance while we were playing. And this friend of mine brought her. He was a neighbor. And I said, Harold, who is this? He said, this is Nancy Craig. I said, are you a friend of her? He said, no. I said, this is a blind date. I said, well, you want to turn over to me? And he said, I sure do. So that's where I got met.
And how long?
What community was that in?
Out White Oven, where we lived at the time.
Where's that?
In Memphis.
In Memphis.
Oh, okay.
Where were you playing? What was the name of the place where you were playing?
My playing?
What was the name of the building where you were playing?
It was called the Social, I think it's Tuesday Night Social Club.
Tuesday
It was
night.
sponsored by the county.
Okay.
Just for young people.
For
Yeah.
Shelby County?
Yeah, Shelby County. Yeah.
Wow, how about that?
That's neat. How long did y'all date before you got married?
Strange.
How long did you date before you got married?
Let's see. I'm trying to think all through the process of everything happening before. I think we dated about 7 months, just about 7 months before that.
Okay.
I was thinking so much just at the time. That's when the war was going on and old Germany was taking over everything. And step by step, they cleaned out all those Balkan states. And I said, I'm going to have to go to war. And I don't want to go without being married. And I talked to her about it. She said, well, she felt like that too, but she'd like to finish school. She was in the last year.
Oh, okay.
And so we made it at the time. And then we got married. And seven months after we were married, I was gone.
For how long?
How long were you gone?
2 years, 9 months, 14 days, 6 hours, and 15 minutes.
You need to get it exact.
Were you in Germany?
Did you go to Germany?
No, I didn't go anywhere. I went through basic training. 60 people in that group with me. I came from a corporal. Well, I came from the first, just private. In 2 months, I'd gone through corporal and sergeant in that period of time. Well, I didn't know what was going on, but anyway, at the end of the month, I went to staff sergeant before I got out. But when came to the time for us to go, we was all getting ready, and the colonel sent a message for me to come to see him. So I came down to see him. I had never seen him before, I don't think.
Wow.
And he said, Mr. LeMay, I've got to tell you something that I think you need to know. He said, I'm going to have to use you. And I said, for what? I said, I've trained with these men. What's the matter? He said, I've got to have somebody here that I think can handle bringing in the next 60 people that's going to come in here and get things set up for us. Right? He said, I think you're the guy for it.
Oh.
Wow.
And I said, well, I came to serve the Lord. And whatever he says, that's it. So he put me in there, and there was 2 weeks, nobody there but me, just straightening, cleaning up trash and cooking for some of them and me. And I had to play that day after I told him. He said, you've got to keep up the work that needs to be done in the playroom, things like that. But he said, when the day comes for them to move in here, you've got to have the dinner fixed for 60 guys.
Oh, my goodness.
Now,
I fixed the biggest spaghetti.
that's easy. Now, just so I don't want to forget, tell me again how you and Nancy met.
How we first met?
Yeah.
Well, when we first met, well, I told you,
He wants
Harold,
you to tell him again. So we can
Craig.
I got
That's
it.
funny. His name was Craig, but he wasn't a kid. But
Oh.
we met at this social meeting where we were playing music at night. There was 5 of us. My brothers, one, Frank, another, his wife was there, and Shorty, Laverne's husband, and we all played his instruments and out of a little band, and we was up. And I'm watching her out there dancing with him, and I said, I just wonder if he's with her you permanently or what. So we had a break. Funny, and I said, Harold, who's this lady you with? He said, that's Nancy. I said, well, is she anything to you? No. Said it's a blind date. I said, would you like to turn over to me? He said, turn her. You got her.
You took
Well,
care
the
of it.
funny thing about it was, I stopped, and we had a break for about, I guess it would take me about 30 minutes to do what I had to do. I came back into the place. I told the boys, I said, y'all hold on to it, dude. I'll be back in a little bit. I ran home. I guess it was about a mile.
You
where
ran
I
like
lived, where it
ran?
I ran home, took a bath, and changed my clothes. And I told Mother before I left, I said, I just met my wife.
Oh, boy.
Really? Wow.
Man, that's great.
So cool.
Now, when you say you ran, you mean you ran with your
She
feet?
she said, get out of here.
Now,
Oh, man.
did you drive or did you
That was
run?
some kind of a day.
Where you say you were running like with your feet?
Did you run home?
Wow.
But when I went back and I told her, I said, Harold said that you didn't care whether you were with me or not, and I didn't care either. Said he'd like to be your friend. She said, let him come on. So I took over, and I didn't have a car, but the fellow that had the car, Brother Frank, he was our leader of our band. He said, I'll take you home. I'll take her home too. So that was the first date.
What instrument were you playing?
Huh?
What instrument were you playing in the band?
The trumpet.
What instrument did you play in the band?
I played two different. Played guitar a lot on the second. Played the clarinet some.
Oh.
Those two things.
And what kind of music was it?
Country.
Oh,
Okay.
really?
Yeah, it's all country jigging.
And so y'all were at a social club in Memphis that was sponsored by Shelby County.
Yeah.
Okay, that's
And,
neat.
and you can't remember the name of the place?
He said it was called the Social Club.
Is that-
I can see the place in my mind. It's, just off of Mallory Avenue there somewhere, and
yeah.
it just didn't make that much sense this part of the time to try to go back and see what it's all about.
So,
but
was it in like Whitehaven or Fraser or what part of
no,
Memphis was
it? Wasn't in Whitehaven. It was. We were closer to we lived on Alce Avenue, and it was about a mile and a half, I would say, at least over to that social club. It was built out between where we were and Parkview, and kind of get an area in there.
Like near
quite-
Trezevant High School and
I like to go sometime, just try to see if I'd even find it.
Yeah.
if
Yeah.
it was still.
Yeah.
But even the house that we first lived in, there was, it's not the same. You can't tell anything about it. I mean, so I have been not here, at least recently, but years back, I've gone through, drove where we used to live, when we got out of the Army.
So when y'all got married, how long before you moved here?
How long was it after y'all got married that you moved to Middle Tennessee?
Since we got married,
How long
Oh.
was it?
that we moved from Tennessee.
Yeah,
No,
when you moved
when
here
you moved here to Middle Tennessee.
to Una.
I'm not getting what you're
Well, y'all got married, then
in Memphis.
then you went away to the war.
I went to the war.
You-
Came
you
home.
came home.
Came back to Tennessee.
Now, when did you move here to the Nashville area? How long did that take?
Oh, in the Nashville area. Watson Institute out close to the Veterans Hospital out on the east side of southeast side of Memphis. It was a new subdivision, just little old bitty junky houses. The house that Steve and I brought was next door to each other. We had $2,500.
Wow.
Had to borrow $150 to pay down.
Yeah. Well, and then how long, when you moved to Nashville, how long was it?
From Nashville.
No, how many years was it when you moved to Nashville?
When I moved
From Memphis to Nashville?
From to Nashville.
How many years was that?
A long time.
I moved to Nashville in 1948. I came. This is one of the miracles in my book. If you read it,
Oh yeah, I remember it.
About how God took care of a miracle. I was back putting up pipes in the back end of the
Storeroom.
place where I was working at the Buick place. Mr. Tune, who was an owner of the Tune Baptist, of the Buick place in Nashville, came up to the front. I had talked to him on the phone about parts. I heard his voice real loud, and so I was listening closer. My master there went to meet him, and I heard Mr. Clint say, he said, what are you doing here? He said, I'm here looking for a parts clerk. And I said, oh, me? That's what I want. And the Watson Institute I'd heard about, you'd go to school at night and get your training, and then you could have the day to work, all day to work. So I said, I'm going to drop these tailpipes. And I ran about the front. I said, Mr. Toon, do you know me? He said, no, I don't think I do. I said, well, I'm Harmon May, and oh, yeah, I've bought parts from you, and you've told me that you had them. He said, I came to get you. And he said,
oh, wow.
He said, I'm here after a parts clerk. And my boss brother, he said, you get back there and put them tailpipes up. I said, no, I've got to talk to this man. So I told him, I said, I'm really interested, and I'll tell you why. The Lord